Hi, I'm Lina. I thought the ear was one of the easiest facial features to draw, but I was wrong. The hardest thing is not the overall shape of the ear, but inside of the ear. The shape feels like they are all over the place, and after a while you lose track of what you were even looking at in the first place. When you don't know something, you study it and learn from it. So here is what I know about ears. To start off, let's take a look at the placement of the ears. In front view, the ears are placed in the middle of the eyebrows and at the bottom of the nose. From the side, with the help of the Loomis method, the ear lands roughly in the middle of the head. One thing to keep in mind regarding the placement of the ear is that it is placed in a diagonal. It is also placed a little bit away from the head, which is more visible from the back of the head. From a top view, the ear is pushing out more in the back than in the front. The placement and the overall shape is the most easiest to understand when it comes to drawing the ears. The thing I struggle a lot with is not the overall form of the ear, which you can draw as a simple C-curve, but the inside of the ear. The inside of the ear is the combination of smaller forms that overlaps and goes into the ear, which can be a little tricky to understand at first glance. The most important things to know as artists is the helix, antihelix, tragus, and the earlobe. This is how the shapes look like and how they overlap with each other. But how do you draw it? Let's start off with the overall silhouette of the ear, which is a simplified C-curve. The shape that hooks into the ear is the helix and goes around the other edge of the ear all the way to the earlobe. The earlobe is a circle at the bottom. Tragus is a regular S-curve that ends around where the helix is. Then we have the antihelix, which can be seen as a Y shape with an indent around this area. So what does it look like from other angles? From a three-quarter view, you will see more of a S-curve as you turn the ear in space. I speak a lot about C and S curves. What are they exactly? You have three types of lines: C, S, and straight lines. Most thing is a combination between these three lines, so learn to look for them in your day-to-day life. Now that we got the harder stuff out of the way, let's take a look at how we can draw the ears in different angles. Back in my art school days, my teacher went through how the ears are placed lower or higher depending on if the head is tilted up or down. They never explained why that happens, and being young I just accepted that that was the way to draw the ears in those angles. Never wondering why this is the case until I got much older. So why are we drawing the ears lower when the head tilts up and it higher when it tilts down? Let's take a look on how the head looks from the side. The spine is connected to this point right here behind the ear. If the head rotates up from this point, the face tilts up and the back of the head tilts down. When the head rotates down, the opposite happens. How can you simplify the ear into different styles? Anime style, you would think, would not need to be super accurate regarding the anatomy of the ear, since the face is so stylized. They are actually more anatomically accurate than what most people think. Most things on what we have talked about is represented here. We have the helix, antihelix, tragus, and the earlobe. However, there are always some differences. Not all anime looks the same across the board. Delicious in Dungeon is a good example of doing something more of a stylized ear than a realistic one. In more cartoony styles, the ear is mostly represented as a C shape only, and sometimes there is a 6-like line indicating the inside of the ear, and that is all you need. Klaus, for example, has an interesting way to simplify the ear that is a little bit different from the rest, by adding another line here to create more depth to the ear. Other styles, artists can block out some of the silhouettes of the inside of the ear, where there will be a shadow, and keep it like that, and that is a completely valid way to do it as well. There are so many ways to draw ears. Learn how things look like in reality and then pick and choose what shapes you like to keep or remove. That's it from me. If you like this video, you can check out more of my videos linked down below or on the screen.